think in August, when she had her chemo. After the chemo session she had in August, she said she was tired of the chemo, that if she was seeing any improvement, that she would have continued, but she's been taking the chemo since 2017 and there's no improvement. So what is the essence? She's just like wasting money. So we're like back and forth trying to convince her. Hi guys, so it's me again, Nelo KK, and I'm the nurse CEO. So from this video you already know what I'm going to talk about. This video was actually inspired by Nurse Glory. I watched her video where she spoke about her sister who just passed away. She had cancer, I think cancer of the leg, and she just passed away. So this inspired me to share my own story. So my mom recently passed away. She passed away a few months ago, and this is the first video. I didn't even want to do this, but I was inspired by Nurse Glory, so I just felt, why not? Let me just tell the story. This is part of my healing process. I don't know, but I don't know if I would ever heal completely, but I doubt it. But this is part of my, let me say, healing journey. So I decided to tell this story, or to share my experience. So yeah, if you don't know Nurse Glory, you need to check her. You need to check out her YouTube channel as well. I will drop a link to her channel on the description box, so you can check it out. So now I'm back to my story. My mom, like I said, she passed away a few months ago. She died of breast cancer. Yes, breast cancer is real. She died of breast cancer. She actually had this lump in her breast for some time, and I'm sorry if I get emotional. I've not recovered from it, and I'm still mourning her. So if I get teary, please just bear with me. So she had this lump in her breast, and in 2017 we went to my hospital where I work, and she had this biopsy done. And when the results of the biopsy came out, the doctor, it was the general surgeon that took the biopsy. So when the biopsy results came out, it was realized that she was already in having stage 3 cancer. That was like a very serious shock to me, because apart from the fact that she told me that there was a lump in her breast, she never had like any sort of symptom, or she wasn't ill or anything of that nature. So when it was realized that the cancer was already at stage 3, had metastasized on the breast. So the general surgeon then referred us to an oncologist, and for those who don't know, oncologists are the doctors that specialize in managing cancer patients. So the oncologist they referred us to was based in another hospital, because our hospital at then didn't have an oncologist, and we only had a visiting oncologist. So we had to go to the hospital of the visiting oncologist to see him. And when we saw him, after he examined her and everything, he actually decided to put her on chemo because it's the cancer had already advanced. So mastectomy was out of it. Mastectomy, for those who don't know what mastectomy is like the removal of the breast tissues, and this could have been done if it was like at the early stage, maybe like stage 1 or thereabouts. So at stage 3, there was really not mastectomy was not an option. So she started her chemo in 2017, and then 2000 and, I think towards the end of 2017, she lost her mom. That's my grandmother. So she they did all that burial and everything, but that's by the way. Then moving forward, we're always back and forth in the hospital because this cancer, what do you call it, this chemo drugs are, they are very, very strong drugs, and they have very serious side effects. For anybody that takes them, the person will understand the point I'm coming from. And considering the fact that my mom was elderly, she was in her mid-60s, so the effect of the chemotherapy was really taking its toll on her. When she started the chemo, she started losing her hair, alopecia. Her appetite wasn't the same, and her blood was going like I think the chemo drugs also has a way of reducing the blood level because of its effect. So anytime she goes for chemo, we have to check her blood level before they can start the chemo drug. And whenever we go there, the blood level was always low, and she always had to be transfused. Thank God for my brothers, who were always there to donate blood for her, because she never wanted the blood of an unknown person. And a few times I tried to donate, but my blood level was not up to, because for females it's usually very hard for you to donate, especially after your menstrual cycle, or your blood level has to be a certain level before you can donate. So a lot of times when I try to donate, they always said, no, you can't donate, your blood level is not up to the required amount, so you can't donate. So thank God for my brothers who were always there to donate for her. And this was the battle on and off in the hospital. Sometimes I had to she would go home after the chemo, she's unable to eat, she's unwell, she can't do things for herself. But at the initial time when she started the chemo, it was she could still help herself. That was in 2017, 2018, and about 2019, it was early 2020 that it really was like becoming worse, because the chemo really does not cure cancer. It actually stops according to what they said, it stops the cells from growing bigger, from metastasizing. That's from growing bigger. However, in my mom's case, we really did not see that, because the breast kept getting bigger and bigger. That means the tissues were growing, and the point where the biopsy sample was taken, as at 2017, that spot never healed, and from that little opening where they took the sample, it formed a large wound, and her whole breast was covered in wound, and this also affected her lifestyle, her person, everything about her. So I'm sorry, I'm becoming emotional over here. So so this affected her person. So up until 2020, for those that know chemo drugs are very expensive. She had her chemo every 3 weeks, and I don't. Her chemo drugs were usually not about 100,000 plus, and we just had to like find a way to make sure she always takes the chemo. So you can imagine every 3 weeks you're spending over 100,000 naira, and at the end of the day, there's really no improvement. The person is getting worse. They just claim that it stops the the cancer cells from rapidly metastasizing. That's rapidly growing. So this was the story up until um around middle of 2020. Around middle of 2020, she could still drive on her own. She could still drive on her own. But that was around, because I know during the COVID season she once came to the hospital. She drove by herself, and then towards the ending of 2020, I think around August thereabout, around June, July, it became so bad that she deteriorated very fast. Um, she was still having her chemo, but she deteriorated very fast. Maybe her soul already gave up. I don't know, but she just felt she wasn't. She just felt she wasn't winning the battle. Um, yeah. So the chemo, according to her, she wasn't seeing any improvement in the chemo. Instead, the side effects were just overwhelming. Like they were just too much for her to bear. So so it was with the effect of the chemo and everything. I think in August, when she had her chemo, after the chemo session she had in August, she said she was tired of the chemo, that if she was seeing any improvement, that she would have continued. But she's been taking the chemo since 2017, and there's no improvement. So what is the essence? She's just like wasting money. So we're like back and forth trying to convince her to keep taking the chemo. That was like helping to keep her up till that time, but she declined and said no, that it was making her feel very bad. Excuse me. That it was making her feel very weak. She couldn't help herself. She couldn't do things for herself. And at that time, she became bedridden. She couldn't stand up. We had to carry her up to you had to carry her up, you know what I mean? You had to carry her up to use the toilet. You had to clean her up. Thank you to my brother Ben, who was always there for her, because the rest of us were not in the house. So sometime around, I think it was in November, it got so bad she wasn't eating nothing in the house, so we just had to take her to the hospital. She was in the hospital and for about a month, where they were managing her, like, you know, palliative care. Like when they say palliative care is actually the care that you give to someone who you know will not make it, usually for old people. So she was being given palliative care where she was admitted, and after about a month, the hospital decided to discharge her based on the fact that there was nothing else they could do for her. So she was discharged on Sunday, but they stayed in the hospital to leave on Monday morning. So on Monday morning, when they got home, it was still the same thing. Um, she was still very helpless, bedridden. So we just because I was not close by, we got a nurse. Because that Sunday I was with her. I was with her on Sunday before they left on Monday. So when they took her home on that Monday, they were able to get a nurse to put up an IV infusion for her for the night. And we throughout that Monday we're trying to like get a place, a hospital where she was going to, take her to. Most of the hospitals, like the private hospitals, said they couldn't take her, considering the fact that she was coming from a government hospital. So you know how the referral process is, but it's not like she was referred. She was actually discharged. But considering the fact that she was coming from a bigger hospital, a government hospital, the private hospitals didn't want to take her. So the last option was, okay, let's bring her to where I work, so that at least she would be there. Then we took, the decision was made. So we waited till Tuesday morning, when they will take her to the hospital where I work. On Tuesday morning, they had gotten ready. I was not even around. I had called the doctor that, oh, my mom is coming, please help me admit her, and just help me admit her. After the doctor agreed and everything. However, before they got to the hospital, she had given up. Yeah, so she had given up. So yeah, that was, I was so devastated. I had to leave where I was, because at that time I was in Kwali doing something. I had to leave Kwali immediately to come to the hospital to see my mom. I was a wreck. Like, when I saw her, I couldn't hold myself. There was an outburst. Like, I just kept screaming and crying and all that. Who had to hold me and console me and all that. So so they then had to like put her in the mortuary. She stayed in the mortuary until she was moved to the village where she was finally buried. So that's actually the story, and I'm the only female child she has, so you can imagine the impact that this has had on me. Yeah, it's really, I don't know, I don't know how I'm trying to be strong, but it's just God. I don't know how I am managing to be strong. So that's just it about how she passed away. And just to let you know that breast cancer is very, very real. So from time to time, try to examine yourself. For the ladies, even men also have breast cancer. So from time to time, as a lady, examine yourself, and if you notice any lump in your breast, don't hesitate to go to the hospital to have it checked out. So that's just my little piece of advice. I'm very grateful to Nose Glory. It inspired me to share the story about the death of my mom, and this is part of the healing process for me, and for everybody that stood by me and my family during this period. I really want to say I am very, very grateful. May God bless you. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, and just give it a thumbs up. I'll from time to time be sending in videos. This is a very hard time for me, so the video might not come frequently, but just give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and let's be family. Thank you all for watching, and have a lovely day. Until we see next time. Bye.